Good morning, everyone. Hey, it's Eric Lay, producing branch manager and loan officer at Guaranteed Rate in Meridian, Idaho. Hey, I wanted to come and talk to you a little bit more and go a little bit of a different angle on the value of home ownership. In particular, today, what I'm going to share with you is a return on investment from home ownership. Now, asterisk, disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial planner. I don't give financial or investment advice. That is not my jam. I am, however, a mortgage loan originator. So, what I want to do is share with you a different way to look at a return on the investment that you make when you purchase a home. So, let's go ahead and get into this. One of the things that I think that is really misunderstood right now is it a good time to buy a home? And I feel like I answer this question consistently whenever I get that question. As long as your timeline and your path for owning that home is long term, then you're going to be better off to purchase a home. And again, that's my thought. I share a lot of numbers with people, but I feel like it's a little bit risky if you're trying to buy a home and your window for ownership in that home is shorter term, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, something like that. Doesn't mean that that can't be a good thing to do, but I feel that the longer that you own a home and commit to that home, the longer that it has to return for you and the safer that it is. So, what I'm going to do is share with you today some of the numbers behind how I calculate a return on investment. So, what you're looking at right here is a calculator that I'm going to use for just calculating appreciation. Now, I'm in the Boise, Idaho market, so I'm going to use that as my baseline case for you. And we're going to say that we're purchasing a home for $400,000. I'm also, for illustrations here, going to say that we're going to do this for a minimum down payment. So a first-time buyer with good or excellent credit scores might be able to qualify for a conventional home, which only allows or which only requires a 3% down payment. Yes, I'll repeat that because a lot of people don't understand that. If you're a first-time home buyer with good to excellent credit, you can qualify to purchase a home potentially with as little as 3% down on a regular conventional loan. So I'm going to use that as my baseline. I'm going to build in closing costs of $8,000, and I'm going to say that we're going to look at this over a 10-year window. Okay. Now, you can see on my screen right there for my area the forecasted appreciation rate and the historical appreciation rate. 3.59% is what we're expected to appreciate per year going forward. And historically, it's been a little bit higher, a little over 4%. To be conservative, I'm going to use an appreciation rate of 3%, much lower than what's expected and being forecasted, and much lower than what we've seen in my market historically. So I'm going to assume that the home that you purchase today over 10 years is going to appreciate by 3% per year. Now, do I know that? Absolutely not, because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have any way to predict the future. However, there's a lot of data and a lot of history out there to show that given a longer window, home appreciation is pretty solid at around 4%. And I'm going to use 3% for this analysis. Okay, so the home that you purchase for $400,000, if you add 3%, would go up to about $412,000 after 1 year. $424,360 after 2 years. And you can follow my mouse along there and see the different amounts that you would have in expected home values. Now on this chart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip out the $8,000 in closing costs. That's why you start here with a negative $8,000 because again, the home does have closing costs associated with it. But if you look at that first year where you appreciated to $412,000, that's again assuming a 3% rate of return, subtract the $8,000 in closing costs, you would have a $4,000 net appreciation after those closing costs. So what does that mean from an ROI standpoint, a return on investment? If you take that $4,000 gain and then you divide by the $12,000 down payment that you made, so 3% down payment is the requirement for first-time buyers, and 3% of a $400,000 purchase price is $12,000. So if you take $4,000, the gain after your closing costs, divided by $12,000, you get a rate of return of 33.33%. That's pretty darn good if you talk to most financial planners, right? And you can see if I extrapolate this out over 10 years, your effective appreciation after that $8,000 closing cost would be 129,000 and change. And if you divide that by the $12,000 down payment, you're up to a rate of return of 1,079%. That's pretty darn good. And when I talk to financial advisors who are modeling retirement portfolios, I usually hear something about, hey, we are shooting for at least 8% return, but we're going to model at 6% to be conservative. Now, that's per year. The illustration that I'm showing you here is what's called leverage. $12,000 for your down payment. And then again, we accounted for the $8,000 of closing costs because we removed that from the home's expected value and appreciation, right? After 10 years, that $12,000 investment is returned over 1,000%. That's pretty good. Now, again, I don't want to get in the weeds of the cost of renting versus buying, because I could show you all day long in my Boise market how it is much cheaper on a month-to-month budget basis to rent versus buy. I mean, you could go find a 2-bedroom apartment for a lot cheaper to rent than a 2-bedroom house's mortgage would be in this market. But you still have to pay to live somewhere. And certainly because it is more money out each month, there is a higher cost of living component. But what I'm simply trying to show here is that $12,000, that investment, that initial down payment on a purchase of $400,000 could yield a significant return on the appreciation of your home over 10 years, or even just 1 year if you looked at that. Now, if this is interesting to you and you want to have more conversations about that, or if you're somebody that is looking to purchase a home next year or at any time in the future, I'd love to have a conversation with you to talk about that more in depth. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to leave my contact information for you in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this. And again, let me know if there's anything else that I can do to help you. I look forward to talking.